Expecting this live stream at 7:35. Ran into some technical issues, but we're good to go now. So we are also streaming on our YouTube channel, and we'll be streaming on our 10 News app as well, so you can get the latest on that if you have to maybe sign off of Facebook or whatever the case may be. But whatever the case may be, we appreciate you guys tuning in as we continue to track this, what we're calling a Super Bowl Sunday slop, because it's not necessarily just going to be snow. There could be other types of precipitation working into this particular storm. And it's very complicated, guys, because it really has to do with just how deep the cold air can get. So I will answer questions like timing. I will answer questions like how much you can expect throughout this live stream. So not to worry. We'll definitely get to it. Let's see. Alessandro, happy Friday to you. Thanks for checking in on Facebook. So here's what we're looking at. When we're talking about wintry precipitation, it's not just the cold air at the surface. You're looking at stuff that's going on above our heads. And so when it comes to sleet, you've got, let's see here, you've got snow that falls into a warmer layer, it melts, and then it refreezes, but it has a deeper pocket to turn into ice pellets or sleet, right? Let's say we take that warm layer away and it's all cold, well, then you guys know what happens. Then it's snow, right? So that's why I've been saying for the past few days that 1 degree makes all the difference when it comes to this particular storm. Because if it's 33, 34 above the surface, then we probably get some rain and sleet. But if it's 32, that changes some things. You probably actually start to see more snow than anything. So having said that, here are the precipitation types that we are expecting for the most part. I'll walk you through Future Tracker. I'll show you the snow and sleet totals that we expect. But understand that these are first calls and that things can change because we're talking about something that's 48 hours from now. But we have a decent enough idea of what's going to happen. So I've broken it down from the Highlands to the New River Valley. And if you have our app, you just got the notification that we are live on the app as well, including Facebook and YouTube. Donna, good morning. I see a few other folks commenting, so appreciate you guys tuning in. So the pink indicates a wintry mix, which would probably be some rain and or sleet, maybe even some snow mixing into that. A mix is truly that, just a blend of different precipitation types at times. So for the Highlands, the New River Valley, the Roanoke Valley, we'll see that at times heading throughout the morning on Super Bowl Sunday. But in the Roanoke Valley is where we could see things change over to rain for a little bit. And there may be some breaks in the action heading later in the morning before we see the colder end of the storm, the northern end, starting to shift things over to more snow and or sleet. And that's mainly going to be an afternoon kind of ordeal for parts of the Highlands, parts of the NRV, and parts of the Roanoke Valley. If you're expecting a winter wonderland out of this, I think some of us are going to be disappointed. Others, not so much, and I'll break down those specific areas. Like if you're in Lynchburg and Southside, I think you see mostly rain. It's not to say you can't see some big wet snowflakes mixing in or some sleet, but I do think you see mostly rain out of this storm. So let's go ahead and show you Future Tracker. Let's get toward about 7 p.m. tomorrow, and you'll notice that we're still mostly dry. This is almost entirely a Sunday kind of system, as we've mentioned for the past couple of days now. Let's fast forward a little bit, and I'm going to do so ever so slowly because we have the opportunity to do so here on our social and digital platforms. Here we are around 10 p.m., and I have a hard time believing that we're going to be 32 at 10 p.m. tomorrow when we spend most of the day at 50 to 55 degrees and we have cloud cover. So I do think we mostly see rain to start out late tomorrow night near the North Carolina-Virginia border. We fast forward in time, and that's where we see the opportunity for a little bit of a wintry mix while most of us are asleep. Let's go back to that. Sorry about that, guys. So I think this is a little overdone. But it gets the message across that while most of us are asleep Saturday night and into Sunday morning, you see the chance for a wintry mix developing. Let's fast forward in time to about 6, 7, 8 a.m. on Super Bowl Sunday. And now you're starting to see where I think Lynchburg and Southside are mostly rain. And then parts of the New River Valley, Roanoke Valley, and Highlands see a little bit of a wintry mix but you also see some breaks in the action. There's what we call a dry slot, thousands of feet up, and so that could kind of lead to a few breaks here and there in the action on Super Bowl Sunday morning. Let me again slowly now push things forward. We'll go toward about 1 p.m. or so. And again, keep in mind this is Sunday, and you see Lynchburg, surrounding areas, Danville, South Boston, are mostly rain. But now we're starting to feed off the northern edge of this storm system, and you're pulling in some colder air. So if there's a chance for accumulating snow and or sleet on Super Bowl Sunday, it's going to be probably during the afternoon hours, some of the evening hours as well. And it's going to be in parts of the New River Valley especially. Parts of the Roanoke Valley stand the chance for that, and parts of the Highlands. The one thing that this will have to overcome is the warm ground, right? Some of us hit 70 degrees yesterday and the day before. Today we're in the 50s and 60s. Tomorrow we're 50 to 55. January was a very warm month. So the ground is very warm, but if these flakes fall heavily enough, they can overcome that. And so that's why, as you'll see in my snow map coming up in just a little bit, I think some mountains overcome that. I think it's going to be a really hard time farther east of that. So let's head farther into the afternoon and evening. A lot of us getting ready for the big game between the Eagles and the Chiefs. And you see that as we get closer to game time, some snow and sleet may try to mix in as far east as Lynchburg and South Side. And that's fine, because I think throughout the day you mostly see rain. So even if that falls, probably melts on contact with the ground. And keep in mind, our temperatures are going to be quite warm for a wintry system. So wherever you do see snow, these are probably going to be some big flakes. They'll have more water in them, so these will probably be some big snowflakes coming in. And then as we get closer to the third and fourth quarter of the game, I do think most of the precipitation is going to move farther to the east. So that is a rundown of the timing with this particular storm. I don't foresee the overall timing changing all that much. The only thing that might change is the type of precipitation based on literally like a 25-mile shift in the storm. So that's just something to keep in mind heading into Super Bowl Sunday, because the forecast still has some wiggle room to it, okay? Here is our initial forecast, and this combines snow and sleet because we could have a little bit of both. In the white, that's your 3 to 6. That's areas close to and to the west of Interstate 77. I would argue that even places like White Top could perhaps see more than 6 inches of snow just because of your elevation difference. You go into this grayish color. This is most of the New River Valley. This is parts of the Highlands, especially as you go north of Lexington and Covington. This is where I could see 1 to perhaps as much as 3 inches of snow and sleet combined. In this baby blue, Roanoke Valley, including Bedford, parts of Botetourt County, Lexington, Buena Vista, areas just north of Lynchburg. This is where I could see anywhere from a coating to perhaps as much as an inch. And we give you guys this range because of that temperature difference that I was talking about, right? If it's 32 above us, well, then you're going to be on the higher end of that range. It's 33 and you see a little more sleet. Sleet is a snow killer, right? And so it just kind of bounces off of things. So that's why we give you the range that we do. And that's why we encourage you guys to check back for updates, just because we are still getting forecast data coming in. But we want to at least give you guys an idea of what to expect 48 hours ahead of time so you can plan and then make adjustments from there as we potentially make adjustments to the forecast. But I have a hard time thinking we're going to see much, if any, accumulation toward Lynchburg, toward areas like Rustburg, Danville, South Boston. Martinsville might have to drag that blue a little bit farther to the east. But time will tell if that's something that we need to do. And you guys can stay connected in every way, shape, and form pretty much possible. If you're watching on Facebook, that's great. We are live streaming on our 10 News app right now. New thing that we're trying out, that we're going to be doing this a little more routinely, that we're going to be doing these live streams on the app so you guys have more of a streamlined and easy way to get in touch with us. So if you haven't yet, look up WSLS 10 weather in your phone's app store, whether it's Android or iPhone, and you get that free app in the palm of your hands. That is also where you can send us pictures if you are seeing wintry weather. So it's a good way for us to kind of connect with each other. It's not just a one-way street, it's a two-way street. So let's kind of talk about the more immediate forecast, pardon me. And right now we're kind of an area divided when it comes to temperatures. Lynchburg, South Boston, Danville, about 57 to 60 degrees. Farther to the west, temperatures are in the 40s. So overall, not that bad of a morning. It will be breezy at times throughout the day today. And we see wind gusts occasionally today between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So somewhat similar to yesterday with regards to the wind. It's just going to be blowing in some cooler air as opposed to yesterday. And I use cooler loosely. So as we look at the extended or the 2-day zone forecast, the mountains in the 50s today, everywhere else in the low to mid 60s. Tomorrow, even 50 to 55 degrees. So this storm that we've got is gonna have to make its own cold air. Something we've talked about since Wednesday is that it's not like we've got this cold Canadian air mass just pounding down on us and it's like, all right, come get me, right? The storm is going to have to make it on its own. So that makes things a little difficult. That's why I'm hesitant to say that everybody gets widespread snow. That's why I think we see this mixed bag at times between rain, sleet, and snow, just depending on where exactly you are in the area. Time now is 7:50. We've been at this for about 10, 11 minutes now. For those of you who are just joining in, I'll go back over some of the things that we're tracking for Super Bowl Sunday. If you need to leave this live stream, it will be posted on Facebook, so you can go back and watch whatever parts you're most interested in. But if not, and you've got to leave and still want to stay in touch with us, again, like I just said, we are streaming on the 10 News app right now. So this is a general rundown of what to expect. Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll see some rain creeping in from south to north and gradually changing over to a wintry mix at times on Sunday morning. And the best chance of that happening, New River Valley, portions of the Roanoke Valley, and the Highlands. You'll see some breaks in the action in the morning toward midday hours. But as we get the colder part of the storm to come in, the northern part of it, that's when we see the better chance for snow and or sleet. And you saw that, pardon me, I got a little trigger happy there, in the blue. So the snow-sleet combination is going to be near and to the west of the Parkway, and that's going to be mostly during the afternoon hours on Super Bowl Sunday. It's got to fall heavily enough to overcome that warm ground, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see as it's happening, pretty much, if that's going to happen. But I would prepare for the potential for some hazardous travel in areas, parts of the New River Valley, maybe even parts of the Roanoke Valley and Highlands at times on Super Bowl Sunday. So as far as the timing is concerned, we'll give you a little bit of a better idea using Future Tracker. 7 p.m. tomorrow, guys, we're in decent shape, okay? We're looking pretty good by then, clouds increasing. But as we get closer to maybe midnight, that's where you start to see the rain pushing in. We're 50 to 55 tomorrow afternoon. We'll have clouds moving in. I have a hard time believing we're going to be 32, 33 at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. So I do think this is rain and or sleet that's moving in from south to north, while most of us are asleep on Saturday night heading into Sunday morning. While most of us start to wake up Super Bowl Sunday morning, you're looking at mostly rain in and around Lynchburg and South Side, but you see a little bit of sleet perhaps mixing in still to the New River Valley, the Roanoke Valley, and the Highlands. But again, you do notice some of those breaks in the action that I was talking about. There is some dry air about 7,000 feet above the surface that could cut off a little bit of the moisture from time to time. Now, let's fast forward heading into the afternoon. And let's pick out about lunchtime / 1 o'clock. Let's go to 1 o'clock because I think this is a better depiction. And you get the wind coming in out of the north. We're on the colder side of the storm system. And so heading into Sunday afternoon, your best opportunity to see snow and or sleet accumulating is going to be in the New River Valley, parts of the Roanoke Valley and the Highlands. This, again, could be snow and or sleet, just depending on a 1 degree difference above the surface, whereas Lynchburg and South Side probably still mostly looking at rain heading into the afternoon. Keep in mind that where we do see snow, these flakes are going to be big. All right, these are going to have a lot of water in them just because temperatures from top to bottom are only going to be in the 30s. So it's not like this fine powdery snow that you typically get deeper into the winter. It's going to be more of a wet one for those of us that do see it. Heading deeper into the afternoon and evening, the snow continues in especially the higher elevations, but as you go toward Lynchburg and south side, pretty messy. You'll see a rain, sleet, snow mix, and that's probably not going to go accumulating. I think by the third and fourth quarter of Super Bowl 57, most of this stuff is out of here. So this is our first call snow and sleet map. We're factoring both into this equation. And we've got 3 to 6 for areas in the white. This is mostly to the west of Interstate 77, where you start to encounter some higher terrain, areas like White Top, Tazewell, and western Bland counties. You're going through most of the New River Valley, including Floyd County, Montgomery, and Giles. At the moment, we have you at 1 to 3. Keep in mind, this forecast can change just depending on the exact path of the storm and how that impacts temperatures above us. But right now, we've got you at 1 to 3 inches of a snow and sleet combination, whereas areas in this baby blue, Roanoke, Bedford, Vinton, as you go toward parts of Amherst County, Lexington, Buena Vista, Buchanan, perhaps as far east as Rocky Mountain, Martinsville, anywhere from a coating to an inch of snow and or sleet. So that's the way it stands right now. If this storm were to track 25 miles farther to the west, all of these lines would go farther west and vice versa. So this is our first stab at it 48 hours ahead of time. If we feel the need to make adjustments, we will, and you guys will be the first to know, so long as you're doing exactly what you're doing right now. Your job is easy. Just stay in touch with us and check back for updates. Our job is the difficult one, as it should be. We're going to be the ones continuing to fine-tune this, and we're also going to be streamlining ways for you guys to get information through our app, through social media, through TV, and probably through Pigeon as well. Time now 7:55, guys. Thank you again for tuning in this morning. Have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll be in touch throughout Super Bowl weekend. Get ready for some 50s and 60s again, by the way, by next week. Take care.